Hello, welcome to the Motivational Stories podcast. I am your host, Ricky Lahiri, and today's story is called Mohandas Gandhi and the Salt March, a single step for freedom. Mohandas Gandhi, a man cloaked in simple white khadi, stood gazing at the vast expanse of the Arabian Sea. The year was 1930, and India writhed under the oppressive yoke of British rule. The air crackled with an unspoken tension, a brewing storm of discontent against the infamous Salt Act. This draconian law, enacted by the British Raj, not only monopolized the production and sale of salt, a vital necessity, but also levied a hefty tax on its possession. For millions of Indians, salt became a luxury, a bitter irony in a land cradled by the sea. Gandhi's heart ached for his countrymen. The image of a frail woman arrested for collecting a handful of salt from the beach haunted him. He knew passive resistance, satyagraha, was the weapon he needed. But this time, it wouldn't be confined to the walls of a prison cell. He envisioned a mass movement, a defiant walk that would shake the foundations of British authority. The idea of the Salt March was born that day on the Sabarmati Ashram grounds. Skepticism clouded the faces of his closest associates. A march for salt? Won't people call it a farce? Questioned Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, the pragmatist of the group. Gandhi, however, remained resolute. This march isn't just about salt, he explained, his voice firm yet gentle. It's about reclaiming our dignity, our self-respect. It's a symbolic act of defiance that will awaken the sleeping giant of India. News of the march spread like wildfire. Villagers in remote corners, factory workers in bustling cities, students yearning for a free India, all were captivated by the audacity of the idea. Gandhi, the Mahatma, the embodiment of non-violent resistance, would lead them to the sea. It was a call to action that echoed in the hearts of millions. On March 12, 1930, the pilgrimage began. Gandhi, accompanied by 78 trusted satyagrahis, embarked on a 240-mile journey from Sabarmati Ashram to Dandi, a coastal village in Gujarat. The world watched with bated breath as newsreels captured the image of the frail leader at the forefront, his walking stick a staff of defiance. As the days turned into weeks, the march swelled in size. Peasants left their fields, shopkeepers shuttered their businesses, students abandoned their classrooms, all drawn by the magnetic pull of Gandhi's satyagraha. The dusty Indian roads transformed into a vibrant sea of humanity, united in their quiet rebellion. Newspapers across the globe splashed headlines about the salt satyagraha. International pressure mounted on the British government. The world, used to images of violent revolutions, witnessed a different kind of resistance, one fueled by non-violence, by the sheer force of collective will. The scorching sun beat down mercilessly, but the spirit of the marchers remained undimmed. Songs of freedom filled the air, their rhythm fueled by a newfound sense of purpose. Stories were shared, bonds forged, and the collective anger against the Salt Act simmered just beneath the surface of their unwavering resolve. Along the way, Gandhi addressed impromptu gatherings. His words, delivered in his characteristically simple Hindi, resonated with the masses. He spoke not of hate or revenge, but of justice, of a nation yearning to be free. He urged them to remain peaceful, to be the change they wished to see in the world. The march wasn't without its challenges. British authorities, threatened by the growing influence of Gandhi, attempted to disrupt the movement. Police barricades were erected, tear gas canisters hurled. Yet, the marchers held their ground, their commitment unshakable. When lathi-wielding policemen charged, the satyagrahis stood firm, offering their bodies as shields against the violence. Images of peaceful resistance in the face of brutal force sent shockwaves through the world. The 24th of April, 1930, dawned upon a triumphant Dandi. Gandhi, with a small group of supporters, reached the seashore. Ignoring the presence of British officials, he bent down and picked up a fistful of salt, defying the law enacted by the very people who ruled his land. This simple act of defiance became a powerful symbol of India's growing discontent. News of Gandhi's act of civil disobedience spread like wildfire. Across the length and breadth of India, millions followed suit. From beaches across the country, salt production became a mass movement. People defied the law, not with violence, but with a quiet dignity that exposed the absurdity of the Salt Act. The Salt March achieved what even the most optimistic estimates could not have predicted. It awakened a nation, brought the freedom struggle to the forefront of the global narrative, and exposed the vulnerabilities of the British Raj. The colonial government, facing international censure and growing internal unrest, was forced to the negotiating table. However, the road to freedom was far from smooth. Negotiations with the Viceroy, Lord Irwin, yielded the Gandhi-Irwin Pact in 1931. The pact called for the suspension of the civil disobedience movement and the Salt March in exchange for the release of political prisoners and the government's agreement to investigate certain grievances. While the pact was seen as a temporary truce, it highlighted the effectiveness of Gandhi's non-violent resistance. The Salt March had become a turning point in the Indian independence movement. It proved to the world that a nation could fight for its freedom without resorting to bloodshed. The legacy of the Salt March transcended the borders of India. It inspired freedom struggles across the globe, from Martin Luther King Jr.'s fight for racial equality in the United States to Nelson Mandela's struggle against apartheid in South Africa. Gandhi's philosophy of satyagraha became a beacon of hope for the oppressed, demonstrating the power of peaceful resistance in the face of tyranny. Years later, as India finally achieved its independence in 1947, the memory of the Salt March remained etched in the collective consciousness of the nation. It served as a reminder of the unwavering spirit, the quiet courage, and the unwavering commitment to nonviolence that had ultimately brought freedom to their land. However, the Salt March wasn't just about a fight against a physical oppressor, it was a journey of self-discovery for a nation. It instilled a sense of unity and purpose in the hearts of millions. The simple act of walking together, defying an unjust law, had awakened a collective spirit that would forever change the course of Indian history. The story of the Salt March is a testament to the power of a single step, a single act of defiance. It reminds us that even the most seemingly insignificant act can be the catalyst for immense change. It is a story that continues to inspire generations, a beacon of hope, urging us to fight for what we believe in, not with violence, but with the unwavering strength of our convictions. Thank you for listening. If you like the stories I tell, please follow the podcast and subscribe to it to get the latest notifications about the release of episodes. You can also follow me on X, previously known as Twitter, to get the latest notifications regarding episodes. I have provided a link to my X profile in the description section of the episode and the podcast.